Morning, Dave.
Yes, mate. How you doing?
G'day, mate. Mike Pursche from Adelaide.
Great.
Anita set me up for a chat.
Yes, I've been waiting for your call, Tom.
All right, mate, let's get into it. First up, welcome to Sitting in a Bar in Adelaide, and welcome back to Australia, mate. Great to have you back.
No, thanks very much. I appreciate that.
We last had a chat last year when you were over for the Adelaide International Guitar Festival, and you did a few dates in country Victoria as well. But it was great to see you on stage after such a long time, mate.
Well, I appreciate that, and it was great to be back in Adelaide. I mean, Adelaide's a special city for me, especially going right back when I was with AC/DC, because our first single, Can I Sit Next to You Girl, just took off there, and it was just wonderful. We we came across and played at the festival. The festival hall, not the festival hall. What's it called
Festival Theatre.
Yeah, Festival Theatre with Lou Reed, and played Paraka and all that sort of thing. It was just amazing. It was an incredible time, and Adelaide can be congratulated for virtually breaking AC/DC.
Well, was it Adelaide and Perth and Tassie that the single really took off?
That's right. It was Adelaide and Perth and Tasmania. They were the three that really took off, and it was good. It was fantastic. Good on you guys.
Well, the great news is, mate, you're doing a full tour of the country, and it's been a long, long time. I guess the last time we saw you actually tour around all of Australia would have been with Rabbit.
It was, actually, but back in those days, that's what happened, I mean, Countdown was huge back in the 70s, and every kid, really, that had a television in Australia got Countdown because it was on the ABC. And, everybody was just waiting for us, all of us, like Sherbet and ourselves and Hush, and, you could do that sort of thing, and people came to the gigs, in droves, and that was, before all the digital games and all that kind of stuff, and it was a fantastic era back there, and you could do just about every bloody town in Australia and fill the joint. It was great.
And when we spoke last year, you mentioned that Rabbit was still getting quite a few people in the States knew about Rabbit, and you were still hearing things. And I've heard quite a bit come out of the States this year as well. So people still talk about the band, mate. They
do, and Europe as well, because we had Too Much Rock and Roll, that particular album released throughout Europe, and when I toured there, it's amazing the number of people that come along with their Rabbit albums. And I actually did a couple of Rabbit songs when I was touring. Did Too Much Rock and Roll, and I like to hear my music played loud, so they knew those songs, and even the people that didn't know them loved them because it's classic Aussie rock. And classic Aussie rock is forever, it's timeless.
So any chance we might see those two Rabbit LPs come out on CD sometime?
Well, I'm talking to my label who's going to be releasing Sinner very shortly here in a few weeks' time in Australia, and they're very interested in releasing the Rabbit albums too, because I do get requests, quite a lot from around the planet about the Rabbit material, and they love it. I mean, they had a special night in New York only a few months ago. $1 Million Riff is the name of the people up there. They call themselves that, and they love Aussie music, and they had a special Rabbit night up there in New York, and I was just really chuffed, to know that the Rabbit stuff was blaring out there in New York City. It was great.
Oh, that's fantastic. The LPs are pretty hard to come by, so I know there's a lot of Rabbit fans that'll be keen to see those CDs come out.
Well, that's true, and as I say, I'm talking to the label, and I think that will probably happen now. And that's fantastic. And the vinyl, I went to Newcastle a couple of years ago, where the band is originally from, and went to one of the vinyl stores there. They had all the vinyl everywhere, and they had Led Zeppelin and Jimi Hendrix and you name it. And I thought, I wonder if they got any Rabbit here. I saw the prices that they were asking, and I dug. There was a couple of Rabbit albums there, the first album, the second album, and they were the most expensive vinyl albums in the store. And I guess it's probably because it was Newcastle anyway, but I was pretty chuffed. I thought, boy, they're going to pay more money for Rabbit than I got, than Led Zeppelin and Jimi Hendrix. That's pretty cool.
Fantastic, brilliant. And you mentioned Sinner, mate. It's great to have an Australian release for that after a bit of time, but that's also got a Rabbit connection because Marky Tinson still helped out with that one, didn't he?
Yeah, well, we wrote a lot of the songs together, and we wrote the songs, but Mark wrote some songs by himself, and we collaborated, and I wrote some songs by myself, and there's a couple other boys that sort of helped out. And he produced the album as well, because he's been producing for years now. And Dave Hines from Rabbit played guitar, the lead guitar, on half the tracks as well. So there was certainly, and it was recorded in Newcastle too. So certainly a Rabbit connection there for sure.
Excellent, fantastic. And back in the firing line, mate, it's got to be one of the best opening tunes ever.
Back in the firing line, mate. I opened the act with it, and mate, it just hammers them. And it's a pretty good track to open up a set with, that's for sure.
Although we haven't seen a lot of you in Australia in recent years, you haven't been idle. You've been touring around the States and Europe, and I read not so long ago you actually toured Europe with the boys from Molly Hatchet.
Molly Hatchet, they play southern rock. They're very, very well known around the world, and I put together the Dave Evans band a few years ago. I got two boys from Australia and two English boys, and put the band together, and we toured with Molly Hatchet, and they're really great bunch of guys. I mean, fantastic guys. But we whipped them every night. Don't worry about that.
Good on you. I just want to talk about AC/DC for a little while, mate. There's been a lot said and a lot not said of Angus and Malcolm's sort of attitude to you, but I guess what I see and what I hear is the stuff that really matters. The real AC/DC fans are fiercely loyal to you, mate, and always have been.
Well, I'm one of the founding members, and there's only 5 founding members, and went through the baptism of fire, I suppose, at the very early days when things were sorting themselves out, and had some fantastic times. Of course, the first record, first film clips, and playing at the Sydney Opera House down there in Adelaide, and all that kind of stuff. But also we went through the hard yards too. The tough times, travelling from Adelaide to bloody Perth in the back of the truck with all the gear. We only had a truck and the band, and that was before the bitumen all the way too, mate. So we had bandanas around our faces to stop the bloody dust coming in, and it was pitch black because the back was down, and so I did the hard yards with the band before the great success they had with Bond. So I did the hard yards, mate, as well, and helped to establish the band before Bond got his opportunity. So and the real fans know that.
I read somewhere that back in those days, Malcolm and Angus used to fist fight, something fierce. And did you used to have to prize them apart?
No, we just let them go. We just let them go, mate. It was funny, really, to watch it. There was a lot of fists flown, but there's hardly anything connected, if you know what I mean. But it was just temper tantrums between the two of them. A couple of times, it didn't happen often, but it was sort of funny, really. I mean, two brothers getting into it, and we just sort of let it go. We realised that it probably happened all through their lives, So.
And one of the great stories from that time, mate, is you guys actually played at a wedding, didn't you?
Oh yeah, wow, yeah, we did actually. A friend of mine who loaned us his PA when we first started, he asked us if we could play it at his cousin's wedding. He's Greek Australian Greek guy, Cypriot Greek. And we said, mate, by this time our single had been released and everything. We were, up there, and I said, look, he wanted it on a Saturday night. I said, mate, we get paid pretty good money these days for a Saturday night, and I don't think you can afford us, And he said, well, how much is it? And so I told him the fee. He said, no worries, We went, fair enough, we don't care, And he's a friend of mine, and he'd helped us out by loaning us his PA system. Peter Panay, his name was, Panay. And Peter said, yeah. So he came up with the money, and we played on the lawn in the back of the house there at the reception after the wedding, and just played a few tunes, and they asked us to do Zorba the Greek. And I said, no, we can't do that, and wouldn't have a clue. But Malcolm Young said, hang on a minute, and he just went quietly by himself. I went over where he was, and he's going down, playing the thing. I think, gosh, by ear, because he didn't know the bloody thing. And he said, no worries. He came back to us and said to Peter, yeah, we'll do it, because there's no singing in it. It's just a musical piece. And Malcolm just said to the rest of the boys, just follow me. and off he went. And the band just played it, and the Greeks, the Cypriot Greeks, went wild, and so AC/DC did Zorba the Greek at the Greek wedding in the backyard there, and everybody had a great time, and we got paid, and that's just part of mythology now.
What a fantastic story. If only they had a Super 8 of that, because there was no videos back in those days, they could sell it for a fortune.
Absolutely. In fact, there's no bloody photos even of it, you know. But it's a true story, and I said part of AC/DC mythology now.
Indeed, and one thing I think people may not be aware of is that you actually demoed quite a few tunes that turned up on the High Voltage album, didn't you?
Well, I actually recorded them. We already had Can I Sit Next to You Girl, Rockin' the Parlour, which is the B-side already recorded for the first album, and I'd already recorded Rock and Roll Singer, Soul Stripper, already recorded Little Lover, and I'd written songs with them, which was Sunset Strip, and Fell in Love was another song I wrote with them, ready to go. And but after the split happened, the album was still going to come out, so they re-recorded Soul Stripper, Little Lover, and Rock and Roll Singer with Bond's vocals, and the other two songs, Fell in Love, became Bond changed the lyrics, and I think it became Love Song for Jean or something, and Sunset Strip, which we always did, Bond changed the lyrics of that and became Show Business. So yeah, I mean, I'd recorded songs ready to go with them, you know, other than Can I Sit Next to You Girl and Rockin' the Parlour, and but that's what happened, and so Bond, you know, he started off with the band doing a lot of my songs, you know, that I'd made, Baby Please Don't Go, which was our showstopper. We were about to record that as well, and Bond recorded it. He knew how it went because he used to come and see us in Adelaide. He was living in Adelaide at that time, and he was a fan of the band, and he saw me with Angus on my shoulders during Baby Please Don't Go, which he emulated. So yeah, there was a changeover, and Bond sort of stepped into my shoes that way, but then of course he made a fist of it and went out and wrote some great tunes, you know, some of the very great classics of AC/DC even today with the band, and so I don't mind doing a few Bond songs every now and again if people ask me, because he did a few of mine at the beginning.
Well, hopefully one day that we those tunes with you will see the light of day. Fingers crossed.
Well, you know, it'd be nice to see that, you know, but that's up to Alberts. They own them. They've got them, you know.
Well, you mentioned Sinner before, mate, and it didn't get an Australian release, but I hope it's coming soon. The Judgment Day, the follow-up, is just a great CD, mate. The sound of it and the power of it is just the title track is one of the best things you've ever done. Well,
that riff, I didn't write the riff. That was Mark Tinson, who I write the songs with. I wrote the Judgment Day with Mark, just the two of us really, and those riffs, that's him. He's the riff master, as I call him. And because I'd written the lyrics and and the melody and that sort of thing, and then he'd come up with that riff at the beginning. My jaw dropped and went, what? You know, he's great, and we've been writing songs together since Rabbit days, of course, and he's fantastic. He produced Sinner and Judgment Day as well. So Sinner's going to be released in a few weeks' time, and Judgment Day will be released at the end of the year. So Australia will be up to speed with my last two albums that have been released overseas. This tour is the first time that I'm actually performing these songs to Australians. I've been doing it in Europe and the USA, and they love them, and I'm just so rapt to be able to play this classic Aussie rock to my fellow Australians. It means a lot to me.
Oh, and I'm sure there's a lot of Rabbit and Dave Evans fans that are very happy that that's happening too. Me one of them indeed.
Thanks, mate.
So, and you've already done some dates on the Gold Coast and in Bendigo. They've gone well.
Newcastle. That's right. Yep. We've already started the tour.
So it's going well.
Yeah, and it's gratifying to, as I say, it's so gratifying to play these songs to Australians. I've done them for years, you know, and smashed them over there in Europe and that kind of thing. And I forgot really after the first 2 gigs I did, the penny dropped. I went, hang on a minute, I haven't actually done these before here in Australia, you know. I did one song with the Party Boys, Take Me Down Again, which is on the Sinner album, when I did the Bon Scott concerts to raise the money for the statue for Bon, and also in the Adelaide International Guitar Festival, I did Take Me Down Again, and just one of the songs, and the Party Boys love it. They said it was the favourite song of my set that I did, and which was great. And I said, well, wait till you hear the other songs; they're pretty good too. So, but this really is the first time I'm playing my own Aussie brand of Aussie rock to Australians, and as I said to you before, that means a hell of a lot to me. So
fantastic. And you're out with some boys from, are they from Newcastle, the Classic Aussie Rock Show boys?
Well, they're from all over the place, really. There's one boy that lives in Newcastle, Paul Addy. He sings the classic Aussie rock part of the show, the old stuff, all the Rose Tattoo and AC/DC and Angels and that kind of stuff. He's singing those, and then that's the classic Aussie rock from the 70s and 80s, in excess, I think. Then I come on with the new classic Aussie rock, which is brand new, for Australia Sinner, and I'll do a Rabbit and an AC/DC tune as well from that era that I did. So the classic Aussie rock is the old and the new, so it's a great combination. So people can hear the great hits of classic Aussie rock from the 70s and 80s, and hear the new kick-ass stuff too, mate.
Fantastic. And I hear that you've picked up a young lad, hotshot guitar player. Now, tell me about this boy. He sounds fantastic.
He's got a great attitude, Jeff Browning. He started the tour with me. He's 17 years old. He only just turned 18 a couple of days ago, which is fantastic. And he's got a great attitude, and he's a good player. And I rehearsed last night with the band again, and he's coming on real good. And he listens to me. He really does. I give him a lot of advice, as I do with the other boys in the band as well. So they're enjoying working with me, and I'm enjoying seeing them come on real great. So yeah, he's really good, and all I got to do is what they're told, if you know what I mean, and work and just sweat with me on stage, and that's it. Just sweat with me on the stage there, and no beg pardons, just give it to them,
Fantastic. Well, I'm very honoured that my band 4am has scored some openings for you when you come this way. So that's going to be a big thrill for us, mate.
No worries, mate. We'll rock the joint, as we say, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on stage too. So. And
I think I've sorted your old mate from the Party Boys from last year, Rob Riley from Rose Tattoo, is going to come and hopefully join us at the. Because the Gov on the 30th of August, I think, is the last show of the tour. So we thought we'd try and do something a bit special. So I'm trying to get Rock and Rob to come and join us.
Absolutely. Rob was there on stage, when we did the Adelaide Guitar Festival. It was good to see him again. And because when I was with Rabbit, Rose Tattoo did a few gigs with us back then before they really broke. They're all good boys, and they're all good Aussie rockers, and it'd be great to see Rob again.
Oh, fantastic, mate! And like I said, I'm sure there's a lot of folks around Australia that are very excited at the prospect of being able to see you play after all these years. Me certainly one of them. So fantastic stuff, mate! And thank you for having a chat. And I look forward to seeing you very, very shortly.
Yes, you will, mate. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again too, mate.
All right, can I just get you to do a tag for my show, mate?
What?
It's called Sitting in a Bar in Adelaide.
Yep.
And if you can do me something like, this is Dave Evans and you're listening to blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. This is Dave Evans and you're listening to Sitting in a Bar in Adelaide. Not a bad place to be, and and Adelaide's a fantastic city. I love Adelaide.
All right, mate. Thank you again. And is it Mildura this weekend?
Yeah. Heading up there Saturday morning early. And they're waiting for us up there too, mate.
Fantastic.
They're champing at the bit, and I'm getting emails from Mildura, and it's great, and I'm pretty happy about this. And as I said, Adelaide's a beautiful city. It really is. I love Adelaide, and some of the boys haven't been before, and I said, you'll love it over there, and of course over in Western Australia too. But the International Guitar Festival. That was just so well run, you know. It was just so spot on, so professional, so Adelaide. It was brilliant.
It was interesting though, and in the crowd, the talk around that was, you know, your name got mentioned, and the likes of Swanee. How great you guys are singing these days, like better than ever.
Well, it was great to see John, you know, and because John goes back, you know, almost as far as me. And when I was with Rabbit, of course, John was around singing then with a few bands and that, and we used to hang out at Checkers, as we all did on our nights off, if you know what I mean, usually a Monday night or a Tuesday night, and he's just a really nice bloke, John.
And of course, Mark played in his band for a while too.
Yeah, Mark Evans, he was never in AC/DC with me. He was in the band after I'd split. And
Mark Tinson.
Oh, sorry, Mark Tinson. Oh yeah, Mark. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. We all go back to that era. It's the classic Aussie rock boys, you know. And as I said, we all invented that music back then. Rose Tattoo, the Angels, Buffalo, all these great Aussie pub rock bands, if you know what I mean. And it's just great to catch up with the other boys, you know. And Dave Tice, you know, from Buffalo, he's still singing great.
He is indeed. He is very much so. All right, mate. Thank you very much for your time. Great to talk to you, and take care. We'll see you soon, and kick some ass in Mildura this weekend.
Absolutely, mate. Just for you.
And give that lady Anita a hard time.
Oh well, I do at times, but that's what you do with managers, you know.
Good on you. All right, mate. Take care. We'll see you soon.
I'll see you soon.
Take it easy. Bye.
Bye-bye.